Welcome to my channel BornToReddit. Would I be the a-hole if I put a birthday hat on my neighbor's pumpkin? I share a porch with one neighbor who is notorious for not cleaning up after herself or her kids. For example, one time there was a broken longboard sitting right in front of their door that they would step over every day to get into their unit. For 7 months, they just ignored it, until one day I asked the oldest kid, 15 male, to please clean it up. He's a good kid and instantly threw it away. I told him thank you, and that was that. Now, I know I could have cleaned it up myself, but I don't want to assume that they didn't want it. IDK, maybe it had sentimental value? Plus I constantly clean up the shared porch. Throwing away trash, picking up cigarette butts, sweeping, clearing cobwebs. I have known her to sweep the porch all of one time in the 6 years she has lived there. Last year, October 2019, I bought several small sugar pumpkins and placed them on my porch next to my jack-o'-lanterns. After Halloween, I threw all of them away in an unused wooded area next to my apartment complex so they could decompose. The next day, I found one of the sugar pumpkins back on the porch outside of her door. I know that it was one I had bought because of the particular markings on it. Okay, weird, but whatever, I'm glad someone is enjoying it. I figured she would throw it away after Thanksgiving. Then after Christmas. Then after New Year's. Well, it's now been a year and the pumpkin is still there. It is nasty. It looks like it has practically melted into the porch. She has put Halloween decorations all around it, and still hasn't cleaned it up. I think it's gross, but left it there on principle, because I am tired of cleaning up after a grown woman. We work opposite shifts now, so I never see her. I also don't have her phone number, because she is constantly changing it. I was thinking of leaving her a note asking her to please clean it up, but I'm worried it will somehow come across as rude. So, I think I might have a little fun with it. I'm considering putting one of those little pointy birthday hats on it, and a sign saying happy first birthday over it. Personally, I think it would be hilarious and get the point across, but my husband thinks we should just suck it up and clean it up. Again, I don't want to do so out of principle. So Reddit, would I be the a-hole if I celebrated the pumpkin's first birthday? Let's be clear. Not the a-hole for doing that, but that doesn't mean it's not going to start a fight. Your neighbor absolutely could handle this poorly, and the next thing you know you and your neighbor are in some stupid fight about a silly thing like cleaning. Yeah, that's the only thing I'm worried about. Like, is it worth it if it starts a fight? I'm just so tired of cleaning up after her. Do you think it would be better or worse to leave a polite note? I think the best option is leaving a note to find a way to talk face to face. Anything seen as passive-aggressive will not start you off on the right foot. Good luck OP, but for your information I totally think it would be hilarious. Am I the a-hole for not giving my parents their son back? When I, 26 male, was 20 years old, my mom and dad had a 1-year-old son Eddie. They were struggling in their marriage and had been for years. They thought having another baby would magically fix things, but they were wrong as it just caused more problems and strained their finances. They were in over their heads and decided go give Eddie up for adoption. I begged them not to, but they had made up their minds. Social workers asked other family members if anyone would like to take Eddie. Both my older brothers refused and my grandparents were too old, so I took my brother in. This royally annoyed my parents and I was threatened with disownment, but I didn't care as I already had a place of my own with an ex at that time. My folks lost their paternal rights and I legally adopted my brother, and I love him so much and was proud to be his daddy. My brothers didn't approve of me adopting him, but I didn't care as they had never met him even when he was still with my parents. My grandparents helped me out a lot and were great. Unfortunately, they have both passed since then and left me what money they had left to raise my bro. My folks and siblings were pissed, but my aunt and uncles didn't care and thought it was best. At family events over the years, my folks would be uncomfortable when I'd show up with Eddie, but within the last year they had seemed to warm up a tad, and I figured they themselves wanted to act more like grandparents as he is legally my son. During the last few months, however, I've noticed my parents and brothers try and talk to Eddie on their own about if he knows who his mummy and daddy is. He says I'm daddy, and usually I walk in and scold them before the conversation can go much further than that. I've yet to tell him the truth, and I know I have to one day, But I don't think now is the right time, and even if it was, I should be the one to tell him. The other day I caught my mom trying to talk to Eddie about this again, when she was visiting me, Ed, and my current partner. I asked my BF to take Eddie out for a bit where me and my mom got into an argument. She thinks I'm being a terrible parent, and that it's time she and my dad take Eddie back. I told her that there is no way I'm letting that happen, so I kicked her out. Now my parents are threatening to sue for custody, and my brothers agree while aunts and uncles say they support me no matter what. So am I the a-hole? Edit. Well, I expected a few replies, at least not this many. I have decided that I'm going to tell him tomorrow. Have a me and him day, and explain it the best I can and answer what I can. Edit 2. Okay, so I told him, it's half term here in the UK, so he didn't have school. Around lunchtime I took him to get his favorite food. We then went for a walk in the park talking about family and stuff. Eventually we sat down and I told him about how I adopted him, but I'm still daddy, and that I still loved him, but then I explained how I came to look after him. It's fair to say he didn't understand some things and has been a bit quieter than usual, but he cuddled up to me while I was watching a film I loved when I was a kid and said I love you daddy when I put him to bed. I'm feeling better and I hope he does too. To say it's been an emotional day is an understatement. Not the a-hole. He's legally your son. And you're the best for him. I would start reconsidering having your parents over. Also, start considering, maybe consulting with professionals, the best way to handle questions he might start to ask within the next few years, either because your parents say something, or in general. Am I the a-hole for telling my husband that I'll never invite his family again after he said I embarrassed him with my cooking? Title sounds horrible, but hear me out please. So, my 35 female husband's 37 male family recently moved to our town to live close to us, and my brother-in-law who got married a few months ago. My in-laws like to gather twice a month for dinner, and they'd have me and my husband visit, 3H Drive, once a month. My mother-in-law wouldn't accept any excuses that I work and have kids to take care of. She always wants the family gathered at her house. Last week, while we were visiting their new house, my husband made me spend X money for a gift that he didn't help with. Also had me carry boxes to help them move stuff into their house, while my brother-in-law's new wife sat on the couch and was served with coffee and sweets. He told them that he wanted to invite them over for dinner the next day, and he didn't even consult with me first, so I had to take the day off so I could prepare meals. I made the main dishes, appetizers, salad, and pound cake. They arrived at 7 p.m. Mother-in-law, brother-in-law's wife didn't move a finger. They were busy criticizing my table setting and giving advice. I put dinner on the table and my mother-in-law started asking why I used X ingredient instead of X ingredient, saying that she would have liked it. Then said that the salad was not necessary because no one liked this type of salad. My husband just agreed with her, telling me why I didn't do it this way or that way. I was getting mad and lost my appetite. Mother-in-law said the pound cake was not complete and didn't look delicious. My husband told her that he wanted to get one from the bakery, but I didn't allow him. The cake stayed the same while they ate what brother-in-law's wife brought and flattered her. After they left, I told my husband that his mom was being rude and mean to me the whole time. That he should have stopped her instead of agreeing with her. He said that he didn't defend me because I was in the wrong and what I cooked was not so great, and that I embarrassed him in front of his family after having them try my cooking for the first time. I got mad at him and told him I will no longer invite his family for dinners, and he didn't like that since he told his mom that we will regularly invite them for dinner. He called me too sensitive and that I should just focus on cooking what they like instead. He thinks I'm overreacting, but I'm so angry and feel like I've been insulted and disrespected in my own house. Not the a-hole. What good qualities does your husband have to balance out how terribly he treats you in relation to his family? I'd really be curious to hear a response to this question too. We read so many posts by people married to or dating a-holes. Why stay? Am I the a-hole for telling my husband he is either married to me or his coworker? My 37 female husband, 40 male, has been working at his company for 10 years as a maintenance supervisor. About a year ago they hired Tabitha to work in their accounting department. Since the day she first started working there, she has had an infatuation with my husband that is now becoming unprofessional and inappropriate. This started when the heat went out in her office. My husband's job as supervisor is to assign tasks to his employees. However, she is never satisfied with the work they do, even though he says that they do great work, so she demands he work on her office. She constantly calls him on his work phone for mundane things. Carpet is loose in a corner, loose screw on her coat hook, and he goes and fixes them without issue. Last year when we went to the company Christmas party, pre-plague times, she was very flirty with him, constantly grabbed his hand. When he introduced us, she just grinned at me and said, "Look, there's Peter," and grabbed his hand and walked away. When we sat at the table, she damn near pushed me out of my seat to sit next to him, and my husband told her to get up, that it was my seat. She walked off in a huff, and when she saw me in the restroom, she shoved past me. I told my husband what happened and he said it was fine, that she was harmless. I told him that she was not fine, and that she clearly had feelings for him, and she was acting like a jealous girlfriend. The past few weeks this has ramped up to an astonishing level of inappropriate. She recently moved into a new house, and my husband and some of the other guys from work helped her move and put things together. He gave her his personal cell phone number, and she has been calling and texting nonstop about things she needs help with. Multiple times a day at all hours of the day and night she will call and text him for help. Last night at 2 a.m. she called about her heat not working right. My husband said he would go over and look at it after work. I broke down. I told him he was not going, that she could call a technician like everyone else, and that he is not her personal maintenance man. I told him very clearly that she has feelings for him, and he is so dense he can't see it. I told him that while it is nice to help on occasion, she calls him all the time asking for help with things that she can do on her own, move boxes/furniture, or pay to have a repair person come and fix. I told him that once he gave out his personal phone number that he crossed a line, and I am not comfortable with it. He said that this will most likely be an easy fix, and it won't take long, so I cried and told him that he can either to be married to me, or married to her, but I wasn't going to be the third wheel in my own marriage. He says he does not have feelings for her, and that I am overreacting to him just wanting to help a friend. I feel otherwise. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. He might be blind to the crush, but doubtful, but you're telling him how aggressively she's treating you. And he doesn't seem to care. Trust your gut here, OP. I don't think you're on the wrong track with what you're suspecting. Share your best a-hole story in the comments. And don't forget, subscribe or I'll insert tiny little pieces of shattered glass directly into your pee hole.